go of everything.
So we left off in the previous lesson where we had started to kind of polish up the nose. Again, we're just continuing on taking all of the blocked in values, just all these rough areas that we blocked in, and we're just kind of starting to just polish it up, blend them together. And the main focus here is really just to focus on these forms, these exaggerated forms, and getting them to look the way that we want. So, as I mentioned in the previous lesson and before, I want his nose to really be a strong characteristic that really stands out, that really defines him, because that's, again, coming back to our reference photos, that's something that really sticks out to me when I look at those images, when I think of this actor. Okay, so I'm still kind of addressing the nose, just kind of taking a lot of these different values and just kind of sampling and polishing and just trying to really nail down this form. Now we have some other courses in our library where we just kind of talk about just the fundamentals of when it comes to values and shading and lighting, stuff like that. And so if you're kind of struggling with doing this, with really kind of getting the lighting to look the way you want, you may want to kind of visit one of those courses where we kind of get into breaking it down a little bit more simply when it comes to working in shadows and highlights and stuff like that. But again, I've been just kind of referencing this image right there, just kind of loosely referencing that as far as kind of how I want the lighting to look for our caricature here. Okay. And I notice he kind of has a little bit of a slight line right there. And with these little faint lines, it's really easy to make them a little too dark, too intense. So again, that kind of comes back to just zooming out, kind of seeing how everything looks a little bit more holistically. Kind of moving on now just to the kind of lower part of the face, kind of the mouth, the cheeks. Again, with the cheekbones, I want them to be pretty strong. This particular image doesn't really convey that as well as this one and this one right here. And you can really see, again, those cheekbones in his younger form. So I kind of want to push the shadows underneath these exaggerated cheekbones that I have here just a lot further. So just kind of pushing that one a little bit more and kind of just creating that nice little gradation right there, where to kind of really show that form is rolling, that it's not flat. Same thing over here, and just the way we're going to have this kind of secondary light that he has right here on the side of his face. I want to really show in just the way I kind of make that transition from dark to light to really show that form is rounded and not flat. So again, still not getting into doing any wrinkles yet. There's going to be lots of little wrinkles here in the bags of his eyes, and just in other various parts of the face. I'm kind of working in a few kind of major lines right here that allow us to kind of kick ourselves off when we do start working in those, more detailed wrinkles later on. And we already kind of have those kind of blocked in, basically. So I'm just kind of blending those a little bit more. But just kind of working my way around the mouth now. Again, you can already see kind of we're making a lot of progress here as we start to really kind of polish up this face here. Again, with the mouth, he kind of has, not really so much in this one, but in a lot of other images, if you look up images of Ian McKellen, he kind of has that kind of wiry kind of smirk. And I feel like it happens kind of in the corners of his mouth. And you notice how it kind of dips down right here on the corners. Kind of right there on the right where before we get to the corners, just kind of right in here, kind of pulling that skin down just a little bit more, I think helps. And again, kind of coming back to my lighting reference there. So yeah, just holding down, just hitting Alt on my express key and just continually sampling. So you can see that little eyedropper just continually popping up. Kind of pushing these shadows kind of right here underneath the chin. You can kind of see the little droopy areas of his skin right there kind of coming down. So kind of want to allude to that just with the kind of shadows that I have here for my caricature. But already this is feeling much, much nicer. Just kind of zooming out here, and I'm liking how that's looking. I may want to kind of make this little area right here just a little bit thinner. It was feeling a little bit thick. I want it to feel a little bit more meaty right here as it gets up towards the wing of the nose. So, you know, we're kind of aiming for a more detailed caricature, ultimately. If I haven't mentioned that already, something that is a little bit more detailed than just, you know, some line work and a little bit of rendering. Which, you know, often you do see a lot of those in entertainment magazines or, you know, editorial articles, stuff like that. But I want this this rendering of this caricature to be a little bit more detailed. And when we do see really detailed caricatures where you see, you know, skin pores and stuff like that, really detailed little wrinkles. You do see examples of those too, and so that's kind of what I'm ultimately going for as we kind of move forward with the kind of the rendering of this caricature. Okay, all right, so we're coming along nicely. We're going to spend one more lesson just kind of blending, smoothing everything out, and then from there we'll move on to getting more detailed with wrinkles and so forth.